So I went and did like a whole bunch of different martial arts. I did karate first, and you know, a lot of forms and a lot of stances. So I of course, I'm a little kid. You know, they're not going to teach you street fighting karate. You know, so they're just teaching us the katas and the proper punching and, you know, kicking. I didn't feel that it was something that I could actually apply on the street, so I went and tried taekwondo. I tried aikido, and when I found I like taekwondo, but I noticed taekwondo in tight spots, you probably couldn't use it. You know, if you're fighting in a library, you probably can't do spinning kicks. But I thought, taekwondo would be cool, like, you know, to finish a fight off if the guy's like kind of like staggering on his feet and you give him a high kick or something. But then I found Wing Chun, which I thought was a very practical in a street fight, and Muay Thai. And I started just training those two a lot because I felt that was the most practical martial arts for the street, until I found Jiu-Jitsu. And that's when I just went fanatically into Jiu-Jitsu.
So at what age did you find Jiu-Jitsu then?
I found Jiu-Jitsu, I was, I think I was just out of high school, so about 17 or 18 when I found Jiu-Jitsu.
So that must have been in the very early days of Jiu-Jitsu in Hawaii. Who was it you were training with then?
Nobody knew what Jiu-Jitsu was. The way I found Jiu-Jitsu was it was actually a non-credit course in the University of Hawaii. So there was at the cafeteria areas, there was a little stand set up, and there was a guy named Romulo Barros. He's now a Hickson's black belt, but he was there, and he set up his little video playing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Action 1. And when I was watching those videos, I was like, wow, this looks like a total street fighting art. So I got really interested, and then I asked them where they have their classes. They told me, oh, down at Studio 4, it's a non-credit course. You can sign up, and that's how it all started. The interesting thing is, my first class there, it wasn't what I thought. I thought I was going to learn how to street fight. But when I went into the class, the first class was pretty much all basic techniques. It was, you know, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has the self-defense course where you grab him here, you swing the arm around, you lock him up, and you twist his elbow, and, you know, that kind of raw, impractical stuff. And I felt like, oh, this is like kind of like Aikido, where I feel like I've got to harmonize with the opponent. It seems like not something that I could use on the street that's someone that's being aggressive to me. So after class, I pulled over, the teacher was Helson Gracie. So I pulled over Helson and I said, hey, you know, I want to learn what I saw in the video. I said, this is cool, but I came to learn practical street fighting. So he told me, okay, how about you go spar with this kid over here? And there was a guy, his name was Homero, Jacques-Alaire Homero, and he was a black belt, but he was like literally like 160 pounds or 150 pounds. And at the time I was about 185, 190. So I was a lot bigger than him, and I was really aggressive. So I thought, this isn't going to be a problem. So of course he said no striking. Let's make it a friendly match. Let's try wrestle and submit each other and do whatever. So rolling on the ground, and man, I can't seem to control this guy because, you know, Jiu-Jitsu, they have a lot of good ground control. And to make a long story short, I got choked out 3 times and just was baffled by the fact that this little guy, if he was acting like a punk on the beach, I would probably walk up thinking I could slap him around and I would have got my ass kicked. And it was like a total wake-up call for me. Back in that day, the bigger person was a stronger person in a street fight. You know how it used to be before? You see 2 guys going to fight? The big guy is definitely going to win. But that woke up my eyes, man. I was right there. I just thought Jiu-Jitsu was my life, and I started training with Helson every chance I had.
So did you find yourself, obviously back then, like you said, you were having a lot of difficulty. Did you have to use that grappling in the local area at any point then? Did it prove itself for you?
Well, No, because I was already in high school, and in high school, once you get out of high school, the fights dwindle. But it did. I did actually get to use it after 3 months in the class. Egan and I we're also playing racquetball. So we're in downtown Houston, and we were at a racquetball tournament, a national racquetball tournament. And after the tournament was done, me, this guy Humphrey, and Egan, we went out and we figured, let's go check out the town. Let's go check out some chicks. So we jumped in the guy's car, and we're looking around for girls, and then we see this car full of girls next to us. So we're like, we rolled down the window. We said, hey, where are you guys going? We want to go where you guys are going. And they said, we're going to a club. Follow us. We're at a traffic light. They're in this car right on the curb, and we're on this side. With the green light goes, they turn. And we're in the middle lane, so we figured, oh, shit, we got to turn. So we turned, and I guess this lane on the end that they were in, you could either go straight or you could turn. And the lane next to him was only a straight lane. So when Guy turned, there was a guy in back of him, and he slammed into our car. So we got in the car, and then the ironic thing about that was right before we were about to head out, we were in the hotel room, and I was telling Egan didn't do jiu-jitsu at the time. So I was telling Egan and Guy that, jiu-jitsu is amazing art. It doesn't matter how big you are. You can, the big spew that the Gracies gave everyone, like size doesn't matter. If you know jiu-jitsu leverage, you can beat up a big guy, So that was a big pitch point to Gracie jiu-jitsu. So I'm just telling Egan and Guy that they're about my size. So I'm in a hotel room, mounting arm barring, choking them out, being this cool fucking jiu-jitsu dude that, it doesn't matter how big the guy is, So ironically, we get into the car accident, and then we made our legal turn. The guy hit us, and this Afro-American guy comes out, and I swear he had like traps like connected to his neck and made it look like he had no neck, and he was big, man. He would look like he was about 230, 240, and looked like almost someone would look at like a linebacker. Like he was big and thick and muscular. It wasn't just a fat big, yeah. And he was pissed. He came out. Me and Egan were actually walking up the street to check the signs to see who was actually wrong and right. And this guy started going at my friend. My friend Guy, he was a lot skinnier than us. So if we were about 185, he was about 160, real skinny, but tall. So this guy, of course, goes after the driver, and he goes up to Guy and says, "What the fuck were you doing? I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you now." And here I am standing there watching that happen, just giving Egan them this big pitch about how size doesn't matter. Looking at this huge freaking guy that's pissed off and thinking, holy fuck. I know Helson told me size doesn't matter, but this guy is fucking huge and he's pissed off, and I'm totally second guessing myself. And I just feel like there's an obligation that, not just that I open my mouth and talk the big story. I also felt that if anybody's prepared to take care of this guy, it's got to be me, because at that time, Egan didn't do jiu-jitsu. Guy wasn't a fighter. So I just, if I was confident, I'd put it one and said, "Hey, you motherfucker, calm down, man." But I was scared, man. I saw this guy piss off. I was scared. I walked up to them. I said, okay, I got as rude as I could by being polite. So I actually told him, I said, "Hey, why don't you calm down?" Egan was across the streets calling the police because there was an accident. "Why don't you calm down? We're calling the cops. Just wait for them to come to solve the problem." And you know when you're in the middle of a rage, someone talks to you, even if they don't say anything mean or rude, sometimes your anger will just be directed to that person, and that's exactly what happened. This guy turned to me and said, "Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, "Whoa!" I said, "Calm down, man. We'll take care of this, man." And he goes, "I'm gonna fucking kill you now," he told me. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't do it, but inside I was like, "Oh shit! What am I gonna do?" But outside, I was like, whoa, stay away from me, man. And so he came up and he was pointing on my chest, telling me, I'm gonna fucking kill you now. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm like, you know, calm down, man, calm down. He touched my chest. I stepped back. He came up, stepped to me, touched my chest again, and was getting more angry as I stepped back. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna step back one more time, and I made up my mind. I told myself that if he comes and touches me again, I'm gonna take first initiative. This guy's huge. I don't even know if jiu-jitsu works yet. And I'm thinking, okay, I gotta just take the first shot. So sure enough, he comes up and he touches my chest. And as soon as he touches my chest, I grab his arm and grab his head like a head and arm, and I flip him to the ground. I flipped him. Wasn't like I don't want you to think that I'm some judo black belt and I made this beautiful flip where his feet came over his head. I pretty much grabbed him and spun to the ground. Egan told me he heard him fall on the ground and go, ugh. So he heard a, ugh. He looked over and we're on the ground. And I was so fanatical in jiu-jitsu for those 3 months. I trained pretty much twice a day. So my ground was really instinctual at the time. So what happened was I don't remember how. It wasn't like okay, side control, okay, how am I going to mount? No, because he didn't know what he was doing, was boom, ground, boom, mount. I was mounted on it. And I remember him looking at me with his beady eyes, and then I hit him. And then he grabbed my shirt, ripped my shirt, and tried to throw me off. And then my shirt ripped, so he continued and gave me his back. So, like Helson told me, put in your hooks and choke them out. So I put in my hooks, got my rear naked choke in deep, started choking, and man, you know what? This guy didn't like tap out. I guess because you're in the street, yeah. So what he does is he starts fucking bucking and jumping. When I took him down, we were on the sidewalk. We ended up in the middle of the street because he was jumping and bucking and he was trying to gouge my eyes. So I was moving my head and I was holding him. And Egan told me when he heard the thud in the ground, the whole thing took about 15 seconds. But to me, that fucking choke alone took 15 seconds. And I'm holding that choke in him and thinking, I remember he was an Afro-American, so I remember his tight, you know, the tight hair they have, like AstroTurf hair. I remember the feeling of that right on my face and my hand. And I remember that, and I remember thinking to myself, holy shit, I wonder if this jiu-jitsu shit works because this guy ain't going to sleep. So as soon as I thought that, Egan came running over. I already had the choke in deep. And I'm thinking, fuck, this shit's not going to work. As soon as I thought that, he started twitching. He grabbed my hands and he started twitching. And I felt his body was no longer resisting it. So he was out. And then Egan just freaking doesn't help in any way by screaming in a real panicked voice, hold on, kill him, hold him, kill him. And I was like, he's out. Oh, okay, kill him. So I held him a little longer. And then when we knew he was out for sure, got him off, had to kind of kick him off because he was out on one of my legs. So I kicked him off the leg. We ran to our car, got on the highway, and took off, man. And that was my first it was 3 months, and I went live jiu-jitsu on the streets, and that shit worked 100%, man.
So that's what started it all off for you then, was it? Were you training every day after that? Was that when Egan started?
I was already hooked on jiu-jitsu, and that was just a confirmation that this shit works. I already knew it worked because I used to fool around with Egan and my friends, and we used to roll around the ground, and you know, by learning ground positioning, man, it makes it so much easier to control someone. And it was so effective when I fool around my friends. But you know, somebody that's like twice your size, pissed off, super pissed off on the concrete, you know, you just wonder, man. You You go into the mat and train every day and think, yeah, shit, I'm ready for a street fight. But when it actually happens, man, the nerves, the anxiety, you know, everything just kicks in, and all of a sudden you're wondering, man, shit, I hope this shit works, man. But it was a confirmation it worked, man. And I mean, it's not like because of that I started training. I just continued training fanatically into jiu-jitsu. I loved jiu-jitsu. That was my whole life, man.
So, how did you find yourself back in Japan then?
Japan. What happened in Japan was I went and I actually came up to Japan for a racquetball tournament. They actually wanted Egan because he was one of the top players in the world. So they wanted Egan because he went the year before and just walked through everyone in the tournament. So they wanted Egan, but Egan, because he was one of the top players, he had other obligations with the racquetball tour. And so they turned to me and said, "Oh, about the little brother, how about you come?" And I was like, "Oh, free trip to Japan. I heard they're not that good. Okay, I'll go check it out." And a 2-week racquetball trip turned into a 3-month stay to stay out my tourist visa and teach seminars and then I found the English job. And 29 years later, I'm still here, man.
So what age were you when you came to Japan, when you went back to Japan then for that racquetball?
When I went to Japan, I was 23. 23 years old, and had no Japanese language, had no money, and just went up there for a racquetball tournament and stayed there to do seminars. And then I just thought that after my 3 months was up, I just thought that if I stay up for a year, learn the language, Hawaii, there's a lot of Japanese tourists, so I could probably get a good job. And so that was my next incentive. So I found a guy that I knew that used to be a baseball coach up in Hawaii, and he was running an English school in Japan. I had to fly to Korea. They got me a visa, came back and started teaching English. So teaching English for the first 4 years, Egan asked me to run his racquetball company in Japan, the E-Force, the Japan division. So I did that for him. And after 4 years, the racquetball company was pretty sturdy. I was going to hire someone. I was going to leave and come back to Hawaii. My heart was in Hawaii. I used to surf the beach. I used to go into the beach every day. So my heart was still in Hawaii. So I still wanted to come back. And the year before I came back, I just had this bright idea about, you know, getting into the ring and seeing what it's like. And the rest is history, man. One fight led to another fight, and when I won the 4th fight, I thought to myself, "Oh, maybe I actually am good in this, and let me try give it a serious try." So that's what happened, and here I am, and the martial arts has made my life who I am today. So pretty appreciative of it.
So that first fight, that was with Shuto, wasn't it?
Yes.
So how did that?
Contacted Shuto because I went to Sheer Hickson in the Vale Tudo Japan 1993, and Hickson is the one who got me tickets. So we went to watch the fights, and then after we watched the fights, the funny thing is, you know, you ask many of the fighters today why they're getting into fighting. A lot of it's going to be like, because I believe I can be a champion. I can get famous. I can make money. I can make a living, provide for my family. You know, all these other thoughts. None of that was in my mind. The reason why I got intrigued to fighting was because when I went to watch Hickson fight, I couldn't control myself. So when I was a racquetball player, I always felt that controlling your anxiety, you know, like how you can go into the practice court and you can hit a shot, and then you can hit a serve that is your best serve, and then all of a sudden when you go into a tournament, when the ref's saying the score, when the pressure's on and you're nervous and all this anxiety is happening, all of a sudden your body doesn't move the same and you can't hit the shots anymore. I remember when I was younger, I saw a show where a guy got into a car accident with his family in the car, and the car caught on fire, and because he was in a panic state, he couldn't open the car door. His family ended up dying. So I always felt, racquetball was a sport that I was trying to get good at. But I always, on the side, always thought that I got to learn to control my anxiety. I have to be at least close to the same player that's practicing in the court that goes into the glass court in the arena and plays in a match. You have to be able to be about the same person. If I'm hitting 90% of my shots good and I go into the court and because I'm nervous and there's a tournament now and the spotlight's on, I only can hit 30%, that means I'm not controlling my anxiety. And I'm afraid, I was afraid that the guy who opens his car every day, if he gets out of his car and opens the door for his family, he can do it 100% of the time. But that time that when he got into a car accident, because the car was on fire and he was panicking, he couldn't open the car door, something that he did every day. And that was only because of one reason, because he was panicking and he couldn't control his anxiety. So I always felt that in racquetball, it was a good chance to practice that. Of course, it's nowhere near a life and death situation, but it's still something that would, if I could control that, I would be better prepared. Not necessarily perfectly prepared for a life and death situation, but better prepared. And as my racquetball career went on, I kind of felt that I never could get to that exact person that was practicing in the court, but I got pretty close to it. So I felt like I was at least 70% the person that practices. So I felt I got a good handle on controlling my emotions and my anxiety. And when I went to watch Rickson, it blew everything out of the water, because I'm the type of guy who would cheer, but you probably wouldn't know who I'm cheering for, because I'll be cheering for him very quietly. And if he wins, maybe you'll know, oh, he was cheering for him, because I'll be, yeah, right on, I won't be screaming, God. I'm quiet, yeah. But Rickson I consider Rickson, Helsen, Hoist, Hoyler, they're all really good friends because we trained a lot together. When Rickson went into the ring and he was fighting, I was screaming, yeah, Rickson, and I kind of surprised myself. I thought, I can't even control my emotions watching a friend fight. So that's when that triggered my head into it. I said, okay, wait a minute. I got to try to get in the ring at least once. I want to get in one time to see if I can control my emotions. And if I can't, with that one experience, at least if something does happen in the future, I will be better prepared now than I was before that one fight. Whether I'll be able to control it and act the way I want and execute my movements exactly how I want to would be the big question. But at least I knew if I got one fight in, I could experience that anxiety that I couldn't control, I would be better prepared. Not perfectly prepared, but better prepared. So that's the reason why I fought. And as you know, back then it was called NHB. There was no TV. It was banned in most states. There was no rules. There was no weight classes. It was pretty much considered human cockfighting. And I think because of that, it gave me I was more anxious to try it, because I felt it was, that fear and that uncertainty is what causes that anxiety. So like a lot of the fighters now, the sport is so controlled with rules and safety gloves, weight classes, rounds, everything's so controlled that a lot of the fighters that's getting into the fights nowadays is athletes. They weren't thinking of testing themselves. They were thinking of a sport that they can make money and make a living. So it's a whole different ballgame. Back in the day, it was still not understood. It was still like what the fuck is that? I saw the UFC 1 and like, holy fuck, that guy just got his teeth kicked out of his mouth. Like, holy shit. I mean, to get into a sport like that, it's the anxiety level is incredible. So that's the reason why I got into it and won the first fight. Like I said, one fight led to another, to the fourth one. I was like, one fight, that's it, I'm done. I went in the fight and I was literally getting in there accepting that I would die. I was willing to fight to the death. Went in there, won, and I said, okay, I'm done. And the guy who trained me, Sayama Satoru, he put a lot of time into me, and he was excited. Okay, next fight, we want to fight this guy. I'm like, oh shit, there's only one fight. But I thought, you know what? The guy put so much time into me. The least I can do for him is fight one more time. So it's okay, one more fight. Fought another fight, I won that, and then I start getting like a 5-page spread color photo of the fight. I'm like, holy shit, you can't quit now. So I said, okay, one more fight. And then the fourth fight, I fought this guy, Andre Menard. He was a famous K1 fighter in Japan. And of course, K1 fighters don't know ground, but when I beat him, there was that big light bulb that lit up in my head. Like, well, not only I couldn't control my emotions yet, that light bulb lit up in my head. Like, oh, I have another reason to do this now. Holy shit, am I really good at this? And that's where my whole focus changed to see how good I could be, as I was still trying to control the anxiety. So I find it really interesting today because all the fighters I picked to fight wasn't fighters that I thought I could beat, wasn't fighters that I thought I could beat to get me to a title shot. It was all fighters that I thought that that I thought were beasts that I probably couldn't beat, and would bring me into that breaking zone to see if I would break, or I would be able to overcome, the body and spiritually continue even if my body's being broken down. So when I saw, the fighters I picked to fight is when I saw Mark Kerr destroy Hugo Duarte. And Hugo Duarte was one of the few guys that challenged Rickson on the beach and did pretty good with Rickson on the beach. When I saw him make Hugo Duarte get disqualified from running out of the ring in pride, that ferocity that Mark Kerr gave, I just looked at it and said, oh my God, I've got to be at the other end of that and see, because that's going to be a big test for my heart and big test for my spirit, and see how tough I am. So you look at my fights, I went from Mark Kerr to Igor Bobochanchin to Keith Hearing to Antonio Nogueira. There was no easy fights. John McCarthy, even once I ran into him, he was, Enzo, do you take any easy fights, man? And I thought to myself, like, I never looked at it that way, but I guess you wouldn't consider it easy fights if I'm trying to pick people that's going to kick my ass. So that was my whole journey, man. So again, going back to the fighting, the reason why I retired was after the Igor fight, he didn't break me. He broke my body. He broke my body where it took me 3 months to recover 100%. I had a perforated eardrum, broken jaw, broken finger. I had a swollen brain. And then I had a liver 2,000 times the count of a normal person. So he beat my body down. But spiritually, he didn't break me. So at the end of the fight, when I couldn't continue and the doctor stopped because my eyes were dilated and my whole face was getting swollen, my spirit, you see me in the corner of that fight screaming to the doctor, no. And if you're looking at it physically, you're looking at it, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? He can't even stand up and get to the corner. He's screaming no. But if you look deeper into it, it's not my body talking, it's my spirit screaming. So Igor didn't break me. And I felt that in that fight, I don't think, besides being killed in the ring, I don't think you could get beaten up any worse. No. And that's what I felt like my learning in the ring was done. And that's what I chose to retire.
I mean, you just mentioned some names there, but like you said, you fought UFC, you fought Pride, Shooto, famously fighting with Shamrock and Randy Couture. It's a massive journey. How was it in those early days fighting on all those different shows, like you just said, when no one knew what to expect? What were the highlights? What were the differences between those shows as well?
Well, it was good because there was after Shooto, there was really, the rounds were longer. Yeah, I think when I fought Randy and Frank Shamrock, the rounds were 8-minute rounds, and when I went to Pride, it was 10-minute rounds. But I think just the fact that the sport wasn't understood. Mark Kerr was 60 pounds of muscle heavier than me. There are no rounds, no weight classes. It just increases the anxiety because the unknown is what creates fear. Yeah, you're sitting in a dark room, and there's a dark closet, and you hear a noise in the closet. If you knew it was a mouse, you wouldn't be scared. But you don't know what the hell that is behind the door making that noise. There comes a fear that starts creeping into your body because it's the unknown. So that's what mixed martial arts was. It was really an unknown sport. And I believe, moving to those different associations that has less and less rules and longer rounds just helped with the anxiety and the fear. It amplified it a lot, and it helped me in my mission to grow as a man, to become a stronger man. So it was hand in hand with what I wanted to do, and the fact that they didn't stop fights like they do now. They stop them so fast now, which is understood. It's a sport being viewed by children. It's about living and fighting another day. So it's understood that they're stopping the fight sooner for safety reasons, and it's more of a sport now.
So
I'm stopped on the street, and there's cops that just drove by. If we're lucky, they'll hassle me. Get alive.
So when did you open up your gym, Purebred?
I opened up Purebred Gym in 1997, and it was actually a Shuto gym run by Sayama, but he got into financial trouble with the sponsors. That the sponsors didn't want to fund the gym anymore, so they were going to close the gym down, and I decided to step it up and take that gamble and take over the gym. So it was 1997 when we started the Shuto gym.
And so how did you find the new role of being a coach then? Obviously, I know you'd done seminars, but then you were starting to produce, world level fighters off their own back. How did you find that role?
I loved it. I was getting paid well in Pride. So being able to upkeep the gym wasn't a problem. I gave all my pro fighters and my jiu-jitsu black belts all free membership, and it wasn't run like my gym is run today. So yeah, it was a role that you would think it's a big change, but it didn't really change. I just went there, taught class, and trained, man.
So I know you obviously had a hand in coaching Kid Yamato. How was that journey coaching him?
It was incredible. He was actually one of the top wrestlers in Japan, and I was dating his sister at the time. So when he got into some trouble with the Yakuza, the college, whenever you get in trouble with Yakuza, nobody wants to touch you because they're afraid the Yakuza is going to come to you. So the college kicked him out. The wrestling association didn't want him associated with them. So he was actually put on probation. He was kicked out of the school. And then he was put in probation for a whole year that he couldn't wrestle. So when that happened, I figured, he may as well keep moving. It would be hard for him to wrestle when he can't wrestle because the motivation to actually come to practice would be hard. So I told him, hey, why don't you come and do some MMA? And the movement's like wrestling. There's a little bit of different, you don't want to fall on your back too much. There's punches, there's chokes and submissions, but actually the ground movement, his wrestling was really good for him. So I told him, in the 1 year that you can't wrestle, instead of being stagnant and doing nothing, why don't you come train MMA? And that's how it all happened, and he fell in love with MMA. He was a natural, man. He came in as a wrestler with no jiu-jitsu experience, submitting the blue belts. You don't hear that. You don't hear somebody coming in and submitting blue belts without having experience in jiu-jitsu. But he was doing that. Nori was super talented. I'm on mission 56, 8 years later, and still going strong. Next month, we're going up to an orphanage where I'm bringing shoes for the orphans every year. There's about, depending on if they get a new orphan or if the orphan leaves, there's about 88 orphans in that orphanage. And every year we supply them with brand new shoes. So next month we're going to head up and we're doing it in, like to buy 88 shoes in one shot and bring it up is super hard to do. So we do it in 3 months at a time. So January, February, March, we go up in March to give the kids a present that had birthdays in those 3 months. Bring them their shoes. We get the sizes from the principal of the orphanage. The head of the orphanage gives us the sizes, and we go get out the shoes. And we're not getting them like cheap shoes. We're getting them the shoes that if they had the choice and went to the shoe store, this the shoes they would get. Price isn't a problem. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now.
So how is the money being raised for that? Is there something people can help with?
Well, I first started doing it out of my pocket, and then I started using my bracelet company. My bracelet company, don't misquote me here. The bracelet company is not a charitable company. I keep all my profits, but I choose to use a lot of my profits up north. So I don't want to tell you buy a bracelet's going to go up north, because not all the money is going to go up north. Some is going to go take me to a massage. Some is going to take me to buy a good dinner, So I'm not going to try and deceive you and say the money's going up north. But there is, I decided to finally create a foundation. It's called the Anthony Noe Foundation. And that's a proper charitable foundation. It's a nonprofit organization. And 100% of the money donated there goes straight to the people of the north. Other than that, is when the bracelets when I make bracelet money, I use a lot of that money to go up north. But that's my choice. That's my choice to use my profits instead of buying a new car or taking a vacation somewhere. I'd rather spend my money up north. It brings me a lot more happiness.
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about recently, and it's a funny thing, isn't it? With age brings perspective. About what you just word it really eloquently about giving and receiving. As you get, when you're younger, you take a lot from martial arts. You become better, you become stronger, you win, you get adored, and as you get older, you realise actually, that passing that on, that giving is more important than you've had your take. And now you're passing that back, and everything that you said just sounds really inspiring.
That's reciprocation to why I do seminars. I'm not making money off the seminars. I'm pretty much not losing money on seminars, but I'm not making money on seminars. The seminars are to give back to the fans and the people that support mixed martial arts, because mixed martial arts is everything I have today is because of mixed martial arts. So I'm grateful to that, and I want to give back to the sport. I'm not this. I'm not like a Max Holloway or Daniel Cormier or UFC champ. I'm a OG fighter. I'm not going to teach you no spectacular submissions, or I've got basic moves. I got anything. If anything, I talk a lot about mindset in my seminars. But as long as I can offer something, as long as people will want me to come out and do a seminar or motivational talk to them, that shows that I could do something for the sport. I could do something for the fans. And until I'm not in demand anymore, I'm going to be doing it.
So, obviously, I showed it earlier on, and we've mentioned the bracelet company. How did that come about? That seems like a big jump from obviously everything that you'd done martial arts wise before. What started Destiny Forever then?
I used to wear it in Japan. They call it a juzu, and it's just like a protection thing. So if you wear it and it breaks, they believe that it's taken something negative that was supposed to be meant for the wearer. The bracelet takes it for you and breaks. And believe it or not, I got 2 car accidents where I totaled 2 Mercedes-Benz, and both my bracelets broke at the time. So, I totaled my Hummer like a couple years ago. My bracelet didn't break, so I don't know, you know what I mean? But I just feel a sense of protection, a sense of, I don't know, I just feel more secure with it on. And I just used to wear it because it was meant for protection. And because I care about a lot of people. Whenever since my 39th birthday, I don't receive any presents from people on my birthdays. I give presents. So whenever I have birthday parties, it's a rule that they people that come know they don't bring their Christmas presents because I'm giving them a Christmas present. So what I did on my Christmas presents is that I made everyone bracelets. Well, actually, I bought everyone bracelets. On my birthday, I would spend over $8,000 to $10,000 buying everyone bracelets. And one of my parties, the guy who I used to buy it from couldn't make it because he was actually being investigated by the police, was running for the police. He couldn't make the bracelets for me, so he said, I'll teach you how to make them. He taught me. It took me 3 hours to make one. Of course, it wasn't for business. It was to make for my friends, and of course, it took too long, and it wasn't a nice bracelet. So I just didn't buy it for my friends on that Christmas. I mean that birthday present, but I continued making them for myself because I started enjoying making it. And then I started enjoying making it and started making for myself. It wasn't the prettiest bracelet, but it was good enough for me to wear, enjoyed it. And then when I felt it got a little better, I put it on Facebook. And that's when people started wanting to buy it. They wanted to purchase it. They wanted me to sell it. And I was like, this is a hobby. It's not something I sell. And it just got overwhelming to a point where I thought, okay, I'll set a price and just see. I'm not trying to make money on it, but we'll just set a price and then that's worth my time to make it. And people started ordering. And then people started ordering, and I only played with black stones and clear stones. I didn't know there was a whole array of different stones there out there. I didn't know that. And then this guy asked me, you don't have blue stones? I'm like, blue stones? So I said, oh, they told me there was. I asked one of my friends. He said there's a shop down the street that sells. It's a crystal shop. I went down there and oh my God, blue stones, red stones, green stones, clear stones, black stones, all over. And I was looking at and I was referring to them as blue stones, red stones. So the guy at the store kind of looked at me and said, these stones all have a name. I'm like, name? Says, yeah, like this red one is called jasper. I'm like, okay. This blue one is agate. I'm like, huh. This is citrine, this yellow one. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, they have names. They go, no, but do you know they have properties? I'm like, properties? He goes, yeah, like citrine is meant to promote prosperity. You know, jasper is good for grief and controlling your inner pain or inner anxiety. And I was like, holy shit, I had no idea. And that's when I started looking into that. That's when I started making bracelets for people that needed certain ailments. And now I do it really big in Hawaii, and lo and behold, man, we're getting so much unbelievable results. Like people they have problems with their arthritis. The stone calcite, it's a yellow stone, it's a soft stone, it's really good for arthritis. I put it together for them, and we've been getting some unbelievable results that people now in Hawaii are coming in for ailments. I mean, I don't consider myself a healer, but something about the bracelets that I'm making is actually like helping people. So yeah, it all comes into play for me. I think it's my calling, yeah. You know how I enjoy going up north to help the people up north. Now this main source of income that I have now, making bracelets, it has this little twist and turnaround that's actually starting to help people get sleep, help people with their anxiety, help people, you know, there's a stone that helps with energy, you know, there's it's amazing. So, you know, Destiny Forever is a company that is helping me do everything I do today.
Well, I mean, I wear mine every day. My daughter's saying, "Oh, I have to get her one." I said, when it comes near Christmas, I'll get in touch with Ensign and we'll design you one. But yeah,
let's do it, man.
She's bothering me all the time now for one.
Oh, I bet, man. Dad, how come only you got one? And then you know what's dangerous? When you want another one and then another one. I got 3 on right now.
Oh yeah, when I was reading through all the elements of the stones, it's like wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I mean, call it Joe Rogan thinks it's placebo. Whatever it be, man, if it's helping, it's working. If it's the powers of the stones, it's placebo, whatever it is, man, if it's helping people, it's working.
So, I mean, obviously I've had you for a while now, but just one more question before I let you go and drive where you're going.
No worries.
What's the future hold now? What does the future look like? What have you got planned going forward?
The future for me, I mean, I'm in the twilight of my life. I'm 52. I'm retired from fighting. I'm doing what I love. I'm taking care of the dogs. I'm cleaning the yard. Going on missions up north, bringing food and things for the kids and the people up north. My whole future is if Destiny Fur get bigger, where I can do more for the people. But basically, my life, I'm so happy with the way it is. My whole future is to continue what I'm doing. But my big side thing is Sarah. She has this dream of being in the UFC, or not. Now it's not just the UFC. You could be in Rising, or you could be in Bellator, or you could be in One Championships. But her dream is to go into one of the major promotions. And for me, if you talk about, okay, what do you foresee in your future? One of my big wishes is to have her have that opportunity to fight in one of those huge promotions. And from there is up to her, man. If she's gonna win, or she's gonna make it a big thing for herself, be one fight and done. I don't know, but my dream is to be able to help her get to one of them big promotions and fulfill one of her dreams that she's working so hard to get to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I follow her on social media just to keep tracking. She's always putting the work in. I know that.
Yeah, she does, man.
Yeah, well, I'm 100% sure she's going to get there. Like I said, with you helping with her work ethic, with her talent, it's all going to come together. It's just a case of when, rather than anything else.
I hope you're right, and we're going to keep working for it until we feel that it's time to stop or change directions. But until then, at least the next year, it's like I lived 2 or 3 times over, so I'm totally satisfied with my life. Now, someone that I care more about Sarah than I do for myself. To see her dream get fulfilled is like seeing my dream fulfilled twice. So that's what my whole thing is now, is try to help her fulfill her dream.
Well, I definitely, you've definitely lived more than one lifetime in your life. All the things that you've done. We could have put so much more on today, but I thought, you'd still be there in daylight hours if we carried on. When I come back to Japan, which I have plans to do, I definitely want to come by and see you in Tara again. So I'll let you know when I'm going back. I'm hoping to go to Canada and New York some point over the next 4 weeks to go and meet some new people. But I'm definitely wanting to come back to Japan. And I'll obviously.
I'm not going anywhere for a while, so just let me know when you're headed out, and we'll hook it up. We'll hook up together, man.
Oh yeah, do you know what I'd like to do as well? Like we talked about last time, go and see some Shooto.
Well, you let me know when about you're gonna be there, and we can look at the Shooto schedule, and if there's a time when the Shooto's gonna be there, I'll get you the best seats in the house.
That sounds like a date. And I have to. My daughter's going to get me speaking to you, no doubt, very soon as well.
Right on, man.
Right, thank you so much for spending this time speaking to me and speaking to everyone who's been watching. Guys, if you're watching, go and check out the Destiny Forever site. Is it Ensign Inoue Foundation? Is that what the website's called?
Yeah, Ensign Inoue Foundation. If any donations made there, it's going straight to the people up north. And destinyforever.com is a bracelet. Go check out the bracelets. And, you can, you go to destinyforever.com, even if you're not going to order a bracelet. It tells my story. It gives a lot of the media. There's a lot of videos of missions. So you can kind of see what Ensenino is doing if you go to that site.
And if people want to come to Japan and train at the gym, what's the website for the gym?
It's Purebred. I don't know what the website is, but it's Purebred Fight and Fitness. Or you just shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I can direct you where to go.
Fantastic. Right. Well, thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll speak to you again soon, Ensign.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, man.
Thanks a lot.